ASP.NET Core in Visual Studio. Article 10/17/2024. In this tutorial for C# development with ASP.NET Core, you create a C# ASP.NET Core web app in Visual Studio. This tutorial shows you how to create a Visual Studio project, create a C# ASP.NET Core web app, make changes to the web app, explore IDE features, run the web app. Prerequisites. To complete this tutorial, you need Visual Studio installed. Visit the Visual Studio downloads page for a free version. For more information about upgrading to the latest Visual Studio release, see Visual Studio updates. VSP.NET and web development workload installed. To verify or install these workload in Visual Studio, select Tools, Get Tools and Features. For more information, see Change Workloads for individual components. Create a project. First, you create an ASP.NET Core project. The project type comes with all the template files you need to build a fully functional website. On the Start window, select Create a new project. In the Create a new project window, select C# from the language list. Next, select Windows from Field Platforms list, and Web from Field Project Types list. After you apply the language, platform, and project type filters, select the ASP.NET Core web app, Razor Pages, template, and select Next. 3. In the Configure your new project window, enter My Core app in the project name field. Then, select Next. 4. In the Additional Information window, verify that .NET 8.0 appears in the Target Framework field. From this window, you can enable container support and add authentication support. The drop-down menu for authentication type has the following 4 options: None, No authentication. Individual accounts. These authentications are stored in a local or Azure-based database. Microsoft Identity Platform. This option uses Microsoft Entra ID or Microsoft 365 for authentication. Windows, suitable for intranet applications. Leave the Enable Container Support box unchecked, and select None for authentication type. 5. About your solution. This solution follows the Razor page design pattern. It's different than the Model View Controller (MVC) design pattern in that it's streamlined to include the model and controller code within the Razor page itself. 1. The project template creates a solution with a single ASP.NET Core project named My Core App. Select the Solution Explorer tab to view its contents. 2. Expand the pages folder. 3. Select the index.html file, and view in the code editor. 4. Each .cshtml file has an associated code file. To open the code file in the editor, expand the index.html node in Solution Explorer, and select the index.cshtml.xt file. 5. View the index.cshtml.xt file in the code editor. 6. The project contains a root folder, which is the root for your website. Expand the folder to view its contents. You can put static site content such as CSS, images, and JavaScript libraries directly in the paths where you want them. 7. The project also contains configuration files that manage the web app at runtime. The default application configuration is stored in appsettings.json. However, you can override these settings by using gapsettings.development.json. Expand the appsettings.json file to view the appsettings.development.json file. Run, debug, and make changes. 1. In the toolbar, select the button to build and run the app in debug mode. Alternatively, press F5, or go to Debug. Start debugging from the menu bar. 7. Note: you might also get a message that asks if you want to accept an ASP.NET Core SSL certificate. To view the code in a web browser, select Yes, and then select Yes if you receive a follow-up security warning message. Learn more about enforcing SSL in ASP.NET Core. 2. Visual Studio launches a browser window. You should then see Home and Privacy pages in the menu bar. 3. Select Privacy from the menu bar. The privacy page in the browser renders the text that's set in the privacy.html file. Point 4. Return to Visual Studio, and then press Shift plus F5 to stop debugging. This action closes the project in the browser window. Point 5. In Visual Studio, open privacy.html for editing. Next, delete the sentence "Use this page to detail your site's privacy policy" and replace it with "This page is under construction as of at view data timestamp." 6. Now, let's make a code change. Select privacy.cs.html.cs, then clean up the using directives at the top of the file by selecting the following shortcut: mouse over or select a grayed out using directive. 8. Light bulb appears below the caret or in the left margin. Select the light bulb, and then select the expand arrow next to remove unnecessary usings. Now select preview changes to see what changes. Select apply. Visual Studio deletes the unnecessary using directives from the file. Point 7. Next, create a string for the current date that's formatted for your culture or region by using the datetime.toString datetime.toString method. The first argument for the method specifies how the date should be displayed. This example uses the format specifier, d, which indicates this hort date format. The second argument is the culture info object that specifies the culture or region for the date. The second argument determines, among other things, the language of any words in the date, and the type of separators used. Change the body of the onGet method in privacy.cs.html.xto the following code. See hashtag public void onGet string datetime equals datetime. Now to string d new culture info nus 8 view data timestamp equals datetime. Notice that the following using directive automatically gets added to the top auth file. See hashtag using system.globalization. System.globalization contains the culture info class. Point 9. Press F5 to open your project in the web browser. Point 10. At the top of the website, select privacy to view your changes. Point 11. Close the web browser. Press Shift plus F5 to stop debugging. Change your home page. 1. In the Solution Explorer, expand the pages folder, and then select index.cs.html. The index.html file corresponds with your homepage in the web app, which runs in a web browser. In the code editor, you see HTML code for the text that appears on the homepage. Point 2. Replace the welcome text with "Hello World." 3. Select press Ctrl plus F5 to run the app and open it in a web browser. Point 4. In the web browser, you see your new changes on the homepage. Point 5. Close the web browser, press Shift plus F5 to stop debugging, and save your project. You can now close Visual Studio. Next steps. Congratulations on completing this tutorial. We hope you enjoyed learning about C# ASP.NET Core and the Visual Studio IDE. To learn more about creating a web app or website with C# and ASP.NET, continue with the following tutorial. Create a Razor Pages web app with ASP.NET Core. Or, learn how to containerize your web app with Docker. Container tools in Visual Studio. Related links. Publish your web app to Azure App Service by using Visual Studio. Personalize the Visual Studio IDE and editor. Feedback. Was this page helpful? Yes. No. Ask the community. Provide product feedback. Tutorial.